Hey everyone, it's Brian Berman. Welcome to another Mortgage Minute. I wanted to talk to you today about the mortgage process. People always ask me, what does it look like? What are the steps involved? So I wanted to briefly run through what the steps look like. Very first thing in the process is you've decided you want to move. So what should you do first? The very first thing I think you should do is have a talk with a real estate agent and a mortgage broker or a mortgage lender. And that's where we come. The very first step in the mortgage process is getting pre-qualified. What does that mean? It's filling out an application and getting your credit check. Very simple. You go online, you type in your income, your assets, you give permission to pull your credit, and you're pre-qualified. We review your application, and then we send you a list of documents to send over to us. When you send those documents over, that converts you from pre-qualified to pre-approved. And that's usually the minimum step that real estate agents want when you go out looking at houses as a pre-approval. One other step that we add in this part of the process is our TrueQual. And we have another video on the TrueQual. Just search our page for the TrueQual and you'll find it there. And then once you're pre-approved or gone through our TrueQual process, you can go out and start looking for your home. That's your home search. Once you find the home, you're going to want to call your mortgage company and have them run the numbers so you see what the house looks like, the monthly payment, the closing costs, the taxes, everything all together on that specific house. If all of that looks good, then you're going to want to make an offer and negotiate on the house. That's where the real estate agent comes in. They help you draft a contract, you make an offer, you negotiate, and then you're binding on a contract. Once you're binding, most contracts call for earnest money. Earnest money is money you put down within a few days of your contract. You give it to your real estate agent usually, or the closing attorney, and that's money secured on the contract. So if you were to back out or default on the contract, that money goes to the seller. There are some provisions that you can back out without losing your earnest money, and you can talk to me or your real estate agent about that, but you don't always lose your earnest money just because you back out. After you've given your earnest money and after you've negotiated on the contract, if you have not done our TrueQual, you're going to go through the underwriting process. That's when we take your income, assets, credit, and your loan application and send it to an underwriter for them to give you your approval. While they're working on that, you're also getting your house inspected. It's very important that you get a home inspection. You want a qualified, licensed inspector to go out and look at your house and make sure there's no major problems with it. Every house is going to have a little something wrong with it. There may be a little wood rot here, there may be a little something here. You want to make sure there's no major problems with the house. If there are, you can have them addressed and make sure that you're happy with the home purchase. Next, after the inspection, is the appraisal. This is when we send an appraiser out to review the property. We do a little inspection there. They make sure there's no water dripping from the ceiling and stuff like that. But for the most part, the appraisal talks about value. Is the house worth what you're buying the house for? They're not going to do very much else. They're not going to tell you whether the faucets work or anything like that. That's the inspection. But the appraiser is there to tell you the value of the house. And they send that back to us. We review it and then we send you a copy. After the appraisal comes back, you want to shop for homeowners insurance. You want to make sure that you've got a good insurance agent. If you don't, ask us and we can refer you an agent. After you have insurance, after the appraisal, after the underwriting is complete, then you have your final mortgage approval. Once your final approval happens, you'll get a closing disclosure that tells you how much and when to send your wire. They're going to send a wire in Georgia to the closing attorney that's closing your loan. Now it's really important. In Georgia, you're going to get a set of wiring instructions from the closing attorney. You want to pick up the phone, call the attorney's office, and verify those wiring instructions before you go send $50, $60, $100, $200,000 to some number that you got on the internet. So make sure you call your closing attorney from a publicly listed phone number that you found and make sure you verify your wire instructions. After you've set your wire, you'll go to your closing, you'll sign a bunch of paperwork, and then you're a homeowner and you can move into your new house. If you have questions about the process, or maybe you want to start the process, feel free to comment below and we'll reach out to you or reach out to us. We'll talk to you soon. Make sure to like, comment, and share the video. Thanks. Brian with Mortgage Atlanta.